Hey everyone, today we'll be going over the universal instruments. So there are two universal instruments. We have the Barnhardt 5 and 6 and the Columbia 13-14. Here in my hand, specifically, I have the Barnhardt 5 and 6. And we have the handle, the terminal shank, and the working end here. For this specific instrument, the working end has a toe, and the relationship between the working end and the terminal shank is at a 90-degree angle. With that being said, there is a difference between the Barnhardt 5-6 and the Columbia 13-14, even though they are the same instrument. The Barnhardt 5 and 6 is slightly longer and has a longer shank. With this instrument going subgingival, which is the reason why it has a toe end, we have to be careful with the angulation and how we roll. So when we use this instrument, we have to close, insert, and open when we go subgingival. Okay, so now that we have gone over the parts of the instrument, I'll show you how to use the instrument in the patient's mouth. So in order to find the proper working end in the posterior teeth starting off, we need to make sure that the terminal shank is parallel to the tooth's line axis. Also, we can use V to the D. So if we were to use this side of the instrument, the terminal shank would be hugging the tooth and the V would be mesially, which is what we do not want. If we were to flip the instrument and put it interproximal, we see that the terminal shank is parallel to the tooth line axis and that the V is towards the D. So when we use the instrument, as mentioned before, we need to close the instrument towards the tooth, enter at the distal line angle, open and activate, rocking and rolling until we reach interproximal. Once we are done with that, we turn the instrument, go to the distal line angle to work mesially, and we close towards the tooth, insert, open, rock, and roll. Till we reach interproximal. So that was the buccal surface of the maxillary of tooth number 3. Now I will show you the lingual surface by moving the typodont here. And I will have to flip the instrument in order to get the right working angle. Going into the mouth with the proper fulcrum. Starting at distal, tooth number 3. Close, insert, open until we reach interproximal. Then we turn the instrument, proper fulcrum, close, insert, open, until we reach interproximal. So that's the posterior. Now we will work on the anterior teeth. So right now I am at 8 o'clock, which is the towards surfaces. And in order to find the proper working end on the anterior teeth, we do not use V to the D. We use the Pac-Man. So if we were to put the working end into proximal, the instrument is eating towards me, which is the proper way. If I were to flip the instrument, it is eating away from me. So right now I need towards, since I'm on 8 o'clock for towards position. I would start from this canine and work towards me. I'll show you at the central incisor. We'll start in the middle, close, insert, open, and work. Pivot and roll until we reach interproximal. And then lingual surfaces. Again, we flip the instrument so that it's the proper working end and it is eating towards me. close, insert, open, rock and roll until we reach interproximal. Now I have to move the patient. So we have the 12 o'clock on the maxillary. And we use the same rules, eating away, since I'm now using the away surface, the central incisor number 9. Okay, so fulcrum, close, insert, open, activate, rock, and roll until we reach interproximal. Then if I were to go lingually on the surface, going away still, since we're still at 12 o'clock, using the same tooth, number 9, using indirect vision, I would close, insert, open, rolling, interproximal. Now, keeping the position at 12 o'clock, I move the patient to mandibular position, and I'll work on the mandibular anterior teeth first and work my way to the posterior. So keeping the same rule with the Pac-Man, since I'm at 12 o'clock, I'll be working on the away surfaces on the anterior teeth. So I'll be working on this central incisor, and the working end is correct because Pac-Man is eating away, and I'm at 12 o'clock with the away surfaces. So close towards the tooth, insert, open, and activate till we reach interproximal. I'll show you again on this tooth next to it. Close, insert, open, and activate until we reach interproximal. Now I'll show you the linguals. Again, we flip to have the right working angle. We put it interproximally, Pac-Man eating away for the away surfaces. Now we close towards the tooth, insert, open, and activate till we reach interproximal. Then again, I'll show you on this tooth. Close, insert, open, till we reach interproximal. Now we will work on the toward surfaces on the mandibular teeth. Here we go. That's how we know that we're working on the correct working end. So we're working on the central incisor still. We close towards the tooth, insert, open, activate until we reach interproximal. Again, close, insert, open till we reach interproximal. And those are the anterior teeth. Now we're going to work on the posterior teeth, moving the patient here to work on the buccal surfaces towards. Again, we check interproximal. That is the wrong working angle, so we flip. Here we go. So we start distally. With the mirror, we'll be pushing back on the cheek in order to have proper vision. Have fulcrum, close towards the tooth, insert, open, activate till we reach interproximal. Then we turn distal line angle, close, insert, open, activate. Sorry. Close, open. Till we reach interproximal. That was the buccal surface. Now we'll work on the lingual surface, moving the patient's head towards me so I have a better vision of the lingual surface. Again, we flip the instrument, check interproximal, making sure that the terminal shank is parallel to the line angle and that the V is towards the D. Start distally. Again, the mirror would be on the tongue this time, pushing away or giving me more vision. So we go close, insert, open, activate. Interproximal. Turn, close, insert, open, activate. Till we reach interproximal. And that is how you use the Barnhardt 5.6 universal instrument.